We love you and thank you for being with us as well. Let's take a breath. Let's take another breath. We need another one. I want to invite you to do that throughout your day. To breathe. Consciously. If you would just stop for a moment and take a few deep breaths. It will recenter you. It will reground you. You know, we're very big on prison outreach here. And one of the things that we do when we start our 4-month program is teach the inmates how to breathe from day one. What that means to be conscious and just to stop. Particularly that idea of just count to 10. When we get angry, the involuntary reflexes within our body, it takes 90 seconds for that to flush all the way through. Anything after 90 seconds is choice. I actually keep a little egg timer on my desk. It's 90 seconds. And when I feel myself about to lose it, I put it in there and I just breathe. And I just keep breathing deeply for 90 seconds. And then after that, I can think. Are you with me? After I can do something. Even I can remember one of the times that I was teaching this. It was opening time in our 4-month program in the prison, and I just said off the cuff, can you imagine what a difference it would make if we just did this? If you just like stopped and took a breath, like for 10 seconds, and all of a sudden I heard this guy say, "I wouldn't be here." I'm just saying. Before you press send, I'm just saying. I can't tell you how many things I've erased by breathing for 10 seconds before I press send. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. See, our theme this month now is renewal. Renewal. And my topic today is restorative energy. Restorative energy. Everything in the universe naturally restores. That's its propensity to move towards healing. And most of us think that what we have to do is to somehow facilitate the restoration. What I find, it's the other way around. We need to get out of the way from inhibiting the restoration. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. We need to get out of the way of inhibiting it. I don't care what it is. You could be an alcoholic, active alcoholic. You could be addicted to drugs. Your body will restore. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. But you got to allow it to restore. If we keep doing the injurious activity, then it can't restore. Relationships can restore. But if we keep doing the same injurious activities, then we prohibit the restoration. Are you with me? So we're trying to figure out, how can I restore? What can I do to change this? What can I do to bring this up? No, you don't have to worry about how to convince the universe to make something heal. We see it now in the political arena, don't we? The problem isn't that we can't restore. The problem is we keep doing stuff that inhibits the restoration. But don't let that make you forlorn. Because if you keep drinking and you keep drinking, you will convince yourself that restoration isn't possible. Because you're living in the energy field of what that feels to be always intoxicated. And here's the interesting thing, is that our various drugs of choice, and I use that term widely, because we find ourselves addicted to all kinds of things. Power, work, relationships, substances, food. Some people are even addicted to exercise. Some people are addicted to religion. I'm just saying. You know? And it's this interesting thing about it. And what happens with this addictive aspect of behavior is it'll get us to a point of diminishing returns, where whatever benefit that was that we were getting from it, we're actually getting the opposite. So instead of getting high, you're getting sick. Instead of feeling more secure, you're feeling more insecure. Because of it making you feel better, you start to feel worse. But because we're so stuck on it, we keep doing it. Because we've so identified with it, we keep doing it. One of my favorite authors and historical figures is a guy named Dr. Howard Thurman. And there was a question that he used to ask all the time, which is, who are you really? Who are you really? So Alice Walker was a student of his. Actually, she was classmates with Roberta Flack when he was at Howard. And he was a chaplain there. Who are you really? Just let that sit for a moment. Who are you really? I pose that question because to feel the restorative energy, we have to unpeel layers. We get shrouded in coats of armor, in coats of identities, in coats of relationships and finances and careers. And we're so busy trying to be true to those and fulfill our roles in all of those that we get lost. We're lost in it. And part of that healing restorative process is like digging our way out of it. Inside, you're perfect, whole, and complete. Every single person inside is perfect, whole, and complete. And it doesn't matter what your body has been subjected to. It doesn't matter what your mind has been subjected to. It's not you. Listen to what I'm saying. There's no amount of hurt, abuse, degradation, even addiction. It isn't you that's addicted. It's your personality that's addicted. You are free. And the free you is trying to work its way through your addictive tendencies of your personality. Okay? We have a personal truth, and then we have a spiritual truth. Your personal truth is you. Your experiences, the way you think about things, your human capital, so to speak, or your education, your socio-demographic profile, all that kind of stuff. That's like your personal you. Okay. But there's a spiritual you that's bigger than that. There's a spiritual you that's transcendent of that. There's a spiritual you that is not limited or restricted at all by what that personal you is, but it wants to express itself in, through, and as that personal you. Listen to what I'm saying. It will use everything about you. The so-called good, the so-called bad, the so-called ugly, every single bit of it is part of your restoration. It's like the compost, or even the crap of your life is fertilizer. Ashes to ashes, dusted up. It comes out of the earth, it goes back into the earth. Your stuff comes up and it goes back in. So part of the restorative energy, when I was saying our charge is not to get in the way. And part of getting in the way is the guilt, the shame, the hiding, the judging, the blaming, the trying to knock stuff off and leave it behind. No. Bring all of you. Bring all of you. It's a come as you are party. I remember in high school, they had this thing called the snatch. Now, I don't know if they do it still or not. But what the snatch was, particularly these honorary societies, they would collude with your parents. And you never knew when, but one morning, 2, 3 o'clock or whatever in the morning, they just come and snatch you. And take you just as you are to some kind of initiation ceremony. All right? I mean, just as you are, baby. God snatches you. The universe just snatches you. You trying to dress it up, you trying to look pretty, you trying to get it all together. You want your due done, you want this and that. And the universe is like, nope. Just as you are. All of it. Bring it, all of it. All of it. And you don't have to figure out. You don't have to even figure out what comes or what stays. Listen to what I'm saying. Even if you are the active alcoholic, you don't have to spend all of your time trying to figure out how not to drink. If you make the sole commitment that says, God, here I am, use me. God, here I am. However you conceive God to be, if you say, I lay my life on the altar, I know that there's something in me that's crying out. And I'm not going to snuff it anymore. I'm not going to suppress it anymore. I'm not going to live in this fear anymore. I'm not going to let the lack of forgiveness or stuff eat me up anymore. I'm ready to be free. If you put your attention there on that kind of massive restoration, then the universe, by all of its properties and principles, will guide you. That what needs to stay will stay. What needs to go will go. What needs to heal will heal. But you will not do without. You will have exactly what you need, when you need it, in the combinations that you need it. I'm telling you what I know. The moment that you step up and say, I'm ready, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And there are the I'm ready people. When you are ready, you will find that guides come up. People are suddenly close to you. People are suddenly there to walk that walk with you, to help you through, or to support you, or whatever it is that's needed. They not be there in the long haul. They not be there in the end, but they're there when you need them. You will get exactly what you need when you need it. I was reading a couple of days ago out of a book, The Way of Mastery, by the Shantu Christo Foundation. And it's a whole series, and I really love this book. It's deep. It's channeled writing, like the Yeshua letters kind of thing. And I love the way they put it. They said, we get to this point where the mystics have referred to it throughout history as the dark night of the soul. And it said it really isn't a dark night of the soul. It's the dark night of the ego and the healing of the soul. Listen to what I just said. It's not the dark night of the soul. It's the dark night of the ego. So part of what this restoration takes is a humility. It's a humility. Because we don't know what it takes to restore ourselves. Listen to what I'm saying. We don't know. The only thing we can do is make ourselves open and available and receptive. But too many of us are trying to orchestrate our surrender. We are busy trying to orchestrate surrender. But you don't know what you don't know. This would be similar to you trying to write your own math curriculum. How are you going to write your math curriculum? You don't know. You don't even know what you don't know. But the wonderful thing about this is that the more you're willing, the Buddhists call it beginner's mind. The more you're willing to humble yourselves and the more you're willing to surrender, you start to get in with the adventure of life, where it doesn't feel so scary all the time, where you don't know, but not knowing's okay. In fact, I am so happy that I don't know. I am thrilled that I don't know. Because if the world was just what I know, we would all be in trouble. If there's no more than what I know, That's not a pretty picture. Just because we're not in control doesn't mean it's out of control. Just because we're not in control doesn't mean it's out of control. Everything restores. Everything has cycles. Everything regenerates. Just go to nature. Anything you ever want to know about life is right there in nature. It goes through the seasons. It goes through the cycles. As I was driving here today, I was noting to myself how much I love living in this area, particularly at this time of the year in early March, because it is as though we can see all 4 seasons simultaneously. It's most extraordinary living here. So we're on the Central Coast, and we're noted for the evergreens, particularly the redwoods, and this stuff that's just like green all the time, and you would never know like what season it is. There's this kind of constonality, that, continuation, like a perpetuity that's like going there. Then you have all these deciduous trees, where all the leaves are off right now. They're just completely off, superimposed upon all these other trees that are completely full. So we have some trees that are completely full and some trees that are completely barren right next to each other. And I don't know if it happened, it feels like literally overnight, the cherry blossoms. I didn't see them yesterday. I don't know if it literally, like overnight, boom, it's like the cherry blossom. And then we have this kind of weird thing here in California, this part of California, where we are the greenest in the winter. It's very dry here during the summer. That's why we have all these fires. But when we have the winter rain, so there's grass everywhere, isn't it? There's like these beautiful rolling hills. So even when we're in our winter, to the eye, it would look like spring. And this stuff that's happening from summer. And as I'm looking at all of this, it's just reminding me of the regeneration. And I get fascinated when I look at those deciduous trees where all the leaves have come off. And there are a couple of them that are right outside some of my windows at the house. And I'm fascinated. Like, stuff just starts coming out of these branches. Stuff just starts coming out. And then stuff starts blossoming out of that. And it's like, where was all that stuff? Are you with me? But this is it with your life. When it looks like your limbs are bare, the leaves are in there. It's like the next thing's in there for its right season and blossoming. But we can't determine that. Just like in nature, everything doesn't bloom at the exact same time. Everything doesn't bloom for the same length of time. Are you with me? So we're trying to master that. Okay? If I were to make an analogy here, our life goes together as a package. Our residence, our relationships, our career, our, everything, spiritual communities, it all goes as a package. And every time we go through growth and healing and transformation, that package shifts some. It shifts some, okay? These new leaves that are coming out, they're from the same tree, but they're not the same leaves, okay? Nature never tries to repeat itself. Listen to that. Nature never duplicates itself. It may regenerate so something looks kind of similar, but it never tries to do the same thing twice. It lets that one go and creates the space for another one. Can we do this in our lives? Are you with me? Yeah. That one goes, and it creates the space for another one. So what will happen for us in this restorative thing is we want to orchestrate it. So it's the beginning of the year. It's like, okay, now's my time. I'm going to really get my stuff together, and I'm going to really go after this career thing. I ain't got no time for relationships right now. You know, don't bring me anybody, because I don't have time for that. You know, maybe at the end of the year, I can do this or that. Now's my time for my finances. And I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to work out later. I don't have time to do all this body thing right now because I'm working on this thing. Like, I'm working on that thing. Universe don't care about that. None of it. So we get stuck and we get frozen. Well, God, I don't know if I should take this job because I don't know where I'm gonna live, and don't I need to figure out where I'm gonna live before I do this job, and I don't really want to date right now because if I move, I don't want to get in a relationship because then I'm gonna be moving and blah 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 blah. Breathe. Go back to the beginning. It's like you breathe. And you work with what's in front of you. It will all work out. You can't say, do this one first, and then this one, and then this one, and then that one. Oh, and by the way, don't disturb this thing. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I am. I told it a number of years ago at Agape. Anyway. But it's true. So this was years ago when I lived in LA, still lived in LA. And this woman came up to me, and she made an appointment for a practitioner session. And she basically explained to me how she was going to leave my office, go into Orange County, and start an affair. Her life was perfectly fine. She was just bored. She had a lot of money, good husband, nice kids, and all the way. But, it was like she just wasn't thrilled. And she wanted me to pray that this was not going to impact her marriage. And I said, I can't do that. I really can't. I said, I don't know what the Spirit's going to do for your life. I said, if I start praying about healing and wholeness or whatever, it's going to do what it's going to do. So you don't want me praying for you. And she left. I didn't pray for her. She actually left. So you're laughing at this, but how many of us are doing stuff like that in our lives? Hello. Whatever it is. I'm going to go do this thing over here, whatever this is, and universe, please don't have that impact, whatever. Don't have this mess with my pension. Don't have this mess with, my relationship. Don't have this mess with this thing or where I live. Okay? And in those ways, we are blocking the restorative energies. When we're in the this but not that. Then but not now. This one but not that one. Here but not over there. Whatever that stuff is. And all I can tell you is that it's a friendly universe. It really is. All of life wants to celebrate you. All of life wants to be itself fully through you. Life is not more glorified or rejoiced when there's places that are shut down, or places that are stuck, or places that are angry, or constricted, or restricted. Everything in the universe wants to liberate you. Wants to liberate you. And if we can develop the stomach for the wee, that kind of roller coaster, oh! Because the ego wants to play small and the ego wants to play safe. Listen to what I'm saying. So it'll sabotage. It'll come in and sabotage those good efforts because the ego's job is to keep the status quo. The ego's job is to keep things the same. Whether you like it or not, you could be a battered woman, and that ego will trust being in the battery that it knows than being in the discomfort of the unknown of liberation. Because that reptilian brain part of us associates the unknown with danger. Now, when you're Neanderthal, that's probably very convenient. But we've got frontal lobes now. Okay, we've evolved now, where the unknown doesn't have to be danger. The unknown is mystery. The unknown is promise. The unknown is potential. The unknown is power. The unknown is possibility. And just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's not known. So what we call the unknown really isn't the unknown. It's more like Beckwith says, it's the not known. Living in the not known. I don't know, but that's different than unknown. Do you feel that? It isn't that it's unknown. I may not know. I may not know. And what I've learned through the years and what the Spirit voice always says is that part of the reason why it appears that we don't know is because we would interfere. That's why you're not allowed to see more than this much right before you. Because if I showed you the whole picture, you'd try to stop it. If I showed you the whole picture, you'd get in the way. Or you try to interfere, or you try to manipulate it, or like whatever. So you only get to see that little bit that's in front of you. But whenever you are allowed, take a breath. It says, our job is not to try to make it all happen. Our job is to create the soil that is fertile enough to accept any combination of decisions that are part of the divine plan. Breathe. Our job is to be fertile enough to accept any combination of decisions that are part of the divine plan. Breathe. Our job is to be fertile enough to accept any combination of decisions that are part of the divine plan. Think about your life. Those times when you were just holding on to how you thought it had to be. And the moment you kind of let it go, all of a sudden it started to happen. Do I have any witnesses? Yeah. That's that getting in the way thing. That's that getting in the way thing. And if you just open up wide, just open it wide. Say, I'm a part of life. And I want life to celebrate itself in, through, and as me. Snatch me. Snatch me. Initiate me. Put me wherever I'm supposed to be, just as I am, without shame, without remorse, without regret, without control. Just use me. And the stuff that you are most trying to hide is the stuff that God wants to use the most. That if we allow that to be transformed, that's what will happen. Be you. Be you. Let us pray. Great. Great is thy faithfulness.